Commerce First Thursday Construction Club. As I'm sure you're all aware, all attendees have a link or direct affiliation with the construction industry, which is where we share our knowledge and information. Just to run you through a few housekeeping points, if I may. I'll do a very brief introduction. My name is Stephen Henegolf. I'm the CEO of Somerset Chambers of Commerce. We're delighted to have sponsors for our first Thursday in February. This is Gravity and Paul and Rob from Gravity. Paul will be presenting and Rob will be running the part of the presentation. I'm delighted they're on board today. I understand there's some really interesting news coming through from the program and process on the Gravity site. For information purposes, what I would like you to do, if you don't mind, is if you have any questions, once the presentation is finished, we'll take those either by raising the hand in the reactions point, or you can put them in to the chat line as we speak. I would also suggest that as we have the opportunity to share who's on the screen, that if you want to should put your contact details in on the right hand side with an email, contact number, etc. And what I'm going to ask you to do, and if I may, I'm going to be frankly quite brutal, is just to give a very brief introduction, name, company, and area, rather than anything more than that, because we've got nearly 26 people on, and we could lose quite a lot of our valuable presenting time listening to somebody like Steve Henegolf wax lyrically, and we don't want to hear him talk. So with no further ado, if I may, I'll go through the screen as I see it, just to ask you to unmute, introduce yourself, and when we've finished, I'll hand across to Paul from Gravity. So Laura, you're on the top left-hand side of my screen. Could I just get you to introduce yourself, please?
Morning, yep, Laura Percival, Somerset Chamber of Commerce, Events Coordinator. I think spoke to most of you before.
Thank you. I'll run across the screen. Paul Lowndes, do you want to just say hello?
Yeah, hello, Paul Lowndes, Project Director, Gravity.
Thank you. Rob Stevens.
Hi, Robert Stevens, work for Gravity, Digital Executive. Marketing.
Thank you. John Burgess.
You're on mute, John.
Hi, John Burgess, Swanpool Partnership in Taunton. We are landscape architects.
Thank you, John. Natalie Beecham.
Muted.
Sorry, couldn't find the button to unmute myself there. Natalie Beecham, Project Lead for the Hinkley Supply Chain.
Thank you, Natalie. Hello, Christina.
Hello, Christina Truesdale. I work for Temporary Cleaning in Yeovil.
Thank you, Christina. Hello, Colin Whitworth.
I'm Whitworth, JSP Limited.
Thanks, Colin. Hello, Jen.
Jen Chilly Sanders from the Somerset Chamber.
Thank you, Jen. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Sarah Pilling from CG Fry and Son Contracting Team.
Thanks, Sarah. Damien.
Hi everyone, I'm Damien. I'm business manager for CEMAF UK. We're an engineering consultancy company, so working a lot in the nuclear industry with Hinkley Point C.
Thank you, Damien. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Jonathan Wilkins from the Wilkins Safety Group.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Advisors.
I've got Matt from MTech.
Yeah, hi everyone. Matt Francis, MTech Electrical. We're electrical contractors based in Bridgewater.
Thanks, Matt. Hello, Kate.
Hi, Kate Skillman, Pinwood Associates, providers of bid and tender support services.
Thank you, Kate. Hello, David. Dave Holmes.
Hi, I'm Dave Holmes from Southwest Aerial Surveys. We're a drone survey company.
And I've got Stephen.
Hello, my name's Stephen Whitaker. I work for Somerton Kitchens in Somerton.
Thanks, Stephen. John Watt.
Hello, John Watt from Express Legal Services, provider of conveyancing searches.
Thank you, John. Jerome.
Jerome Timbrell from CT Safety and a director of Somerset Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Jerome. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark Marriott, Clearflow, based in Yeovil, a drainage company.
Thank you, Mark. Serena.
Hi, Serena from SR by Design, interior design and decorating company.
Thank you, Serena. Matthew.
Hello everyone, Matthew from Ocean Fire and Security based in Yeovil.
Thanks, Matthew. Hello, Alan.
Hello, I'm Alan Windsor and I'm the Information Manager for the Somerset Chamber of Commerce Hinkley Supply Chain team.
Brilliant, thank you. And I've got Catherine. Hello, Catherine.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Rutherford. I'm a construction lawyer at Ashfords, based in London.
Brilliant, thank you. And I just can't see that name now. It's because the screen's slightly blocked. I'll go to Richard, if I may, and come back.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Richard Tempany from RF Ponsford Insurance Services. We're commercial insurance brokers.
Brilliant, thank you, Richard. It was James I couldn't see. Hello, James.
Hello, I'm James at Somerton Kitchens in Somerton.
And then I've got Hugh.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Hugh Graham, and I have a company called The Bid Coach, which, not unlike Kate's business, provides bid support services across the industry.
Thank you, Hugh. And Greg.
Greg Van Loon, Astron Fire and Security, based in Bristol.
Good to see you, Greg. And finally, I have Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Koneski. I work at Wincanton. We're the logistics partner for the HPC project.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rebecca. Please, somebody wave if I've missed you out. I think I've managed to go through our guests and panel today. As I say, what I would suggest is if you put your details into the chat with your contact information. And with no further ado, I'd like to say a huge welcome and thank you to our main sponsors, Gravity and Hand Across.
Thank you, Stephen. So, Rob, you're putting the slides up on the screen. Where are you, Rob?
Apologies, having slight technical issues.
Okay, I think I'm having some slight technical issues as well, but
What we need to do while we're just going through that is to work out what form of remuneration we get from everybody during 2021 for the most times we hear somebody say you're on mute. I don't know whether we have to put a 10 pence. I don't think we could afford to put a pound in the charity box, but a 10 pence in the charity box, or a commitment to do something every time you hear you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on. It's not letting me share the screen.
I can assure everybody that it worked in the 10 minutes before everybody joined. So
can you send them to somebody else who could share for you?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, Rob, if you want to send them over to me, I can share from this end.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry about that.
Hopefully, she says.
So just whilst this is winging its way across to Laura, what I thought I'd do this morning, as I've presented to this group before, a very general presentation on Gravity. That was in, I think, November. And several of you have visited Gravity since November. And then Claire spoke last month, or in December, about the local development order and the more detailed planning proposals. That leaves me a bit sort of threadbare in terms of what to talk about. So I thought today what we do is we talk about the link road specifically, because the link road is due for completion in the next 4 months. A lot of you will notice some big changes as of next week, because the A39 between Hillside in Puriton and Hall Road in Puriton is going to be closed. So there's a diversionary route which goes from Junction 23 via Bridgewater and then out onto the A39 at Silverfish. So some of you will notice that the access to the village is for residents only. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then as part of the overall link road presentation, what I'll do is go into recover, recycle, repurpose, reuse, because we are looking to and we are actually managing to reduce our construction carbon footprint through the process, and that's a bit of a first on a road construction like this. And then I'll talk a little bit about transport in general, and how we're moving forward in our efforts to take freight and passengers off the M5. How are we doing, Rob, Laura?
Not received it yet, Rob. Have you sent it?
No, my computer is being very, very slow. Sorry about this.
Oh.
Whilst we're going into the full presentation, Paul, if I may, one of the questions I had, I gather that marks a milestone in terms of the closure of the road on the 9th of February in terms of the longer plan. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean we're closing the link road. We're closing the A39 to do the stitching in on the major new roundabout, which is built off centre of the A39. But we'll do all of that work. Residents can still get into the village, as I've said. It's access only, and we'll provide access to all the houses on the A39 during the construction. But then very shortly after we reopen the A39, we'll be closing off Hillside. So you won't be able to access the village through via Hillside. And Hall Road becomes a one-way only into the village. So in 3 fell swoops, the link road takes out all or 3 of the major accident black spots in Somerset. I think since I've been on the site, I've seen the air ambulance 4 times. Yeah, you'll notice quite a lot of change in the road network around Puriton.
It's really positive and encouraging from a wider perspective. I did a piece with regards to the opening up of the Business Park Road at junction 25 of the M5 at the top of the A358, and we did that at the beginning of this year. So I'm really pleased to see that as businesses have asked and have campaigned is the wrong word, but have pushed pressure on for an improvement, that those 2 notorious areas of congestion are now seeing some heavy investment, which is really good news. I almost want to, and I won't, I hasten to add, break the rules and jump in and have a little drive around after the 9th to see exactly what you mean in terms of what's happening there. But that's not allowed. I'll have to wait until we're allowed out and about again, and I can spend half an afternoon going up and down to junction 25 and further up and having a look how they've improved it. Yes, and it is a very sad thing to look forward to, but it's really interesting how infrastructure is improving in the county, and obviously that impacts on our businesses. I saw you were nodding, Jerome. Is it going to affect you at all at the moment?
I think Paul's right about that being a big accident black spot, and certainly the junction when you pull out just before the junction 23. You know, I've lived in Bridgewater for 20 years now, and you know, multiple fatalities on there where people just trying to sneak out in front, or people just coming off the motorway and catching people coming across. So it's a really, really positive thing.
Good. And the other thing, if I may, I was going to ask towards the end, Paul, and it's only because it's particularly topical. I had the opportunity to talk to our Armed Forces Minister, James Heappey, last week, and we were talking about the investment and the recognition of the Southwest slowly starting to get further up against some of our regional competitors. And I understand there's some activity with regards to the Freeport and the Gravity and Bristol Port. What can you just I'm sure whether it's confidential or commercially sensitive, but we're quite keen to understand what's happening there. Are you able to enlighten us?
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret as to our inclusion in the Freeport submission. The Freeport submission will go in tomorrow, and for I think we're quite an unusual inclusion in the Freeport submission because it's a WECA submission.
Yeah.
And Gravity is not in WECA, but they don't have a suitable site that can do the customs and tax clearance. Gravity can do both, so it will have a huge impact for Gravity. At the moment, we've ring-fenced the whole of the site for Freeport, with the exception of the residential component, and from a transport and digital point of view, it makes a huge difference because it's probably one of the things we need to accelerate the railway connection.
Yeah.
Because taking freight off the M5 into Gravity to import and export for manufacturers, it's a shot in the arm for that. The other thing is that the Freeport will be digitally, as we understand it, it will be digitally administered and monitored and controlled. So we've been awarded, along with Bristol University and Cellnex, a £3 million R&D project. It's a 5G R&D, and we'll be bringing in dummy trucks and monitoring them in, monitoring them out, and it's all the digital fence around the implications of Freeport. And the implications really are that if you're a manufacturer, if you want to manufacture electric cars on Gravity, you could do that. You could establish your manufacturing facility. You could import components, assemble and export the finished goods without paying import and export duty on the
Brilliant.
on the
An
truck.
ideal corridor for the Southwest. I know that I was up with the team in 2019. I was fortunate enough to have a tour of the Bristol port facility, and not only is one of the big deep water ports, but one of the fascinating pieces that they told me, it's one of the only ports in the UK where you can travel north, south, east or west from the port. And if you think about it, absolutely you can. And I think, we've long since recognised the importance of that port, and linking it in with a Freeport submission makes an enormous amount of sense, particularly with the Gravity site, Paul.
It is the most central port in the UK.
Yeah, brilliant.
So the government's talking about having 10 Freeports, seven based in England, one in Wales, one in Scotland, one in Northern Ireland, I think Bristol has a very, very strong chance. Boris, I think, is pretty supportive of Bristol, so fingers crossed. They're going to make a decision very quickly. So this is a very fast track bid, and they've said, look, get them in by the 5th. There will be no extension of time, and it doesn't matter if it's not polished. We just want these bids in so that we can make a quick decision.
And that's reassuring. Historically, we know, and particularly on things like the extension to Heathrow and some of the challenges with HS2, that they kept going forwards and back. I think if one thing that has happened that is a positive in terms of the construction industry and decision-making process, I think central government have finally said that actually we can do something, get it in, we can look at it, and we will make a decision to, and I don't like the word jump start the economy, because this is not a jump start, but actually they're prepared to increase the speed of their decision process so we can get things moving, which has got to be good news.
Yeah, no, I agree. How are we doing, Rob and Laura?
Sorry, I was just catching up with Rob then. I haven't received it, Rob. I don't know if, is it a large file or? You want to try sharing it again?
The other option, Rob, is that I try and share my screen, and whilst I'm not comfortable in this environment, because I've actually got the presentation on my
Sure, someone can coach Paul through that process.
Laura, do you want to give Paul permission to, or give him shared screen option, and I'll just
Yeah,
talk through
you
that.
should have that, Paul, already. I've made you a co-host.
Okay.
You should be
So
able to.
I need to go into how do I open a file? There you go.
Yeah, so if you've got it open on a screen, you can just, yeah, there you go. Oh no, Rob's sharing now.
All right.
Not sure. Oh.
Yay! Great. Okay, so
Thank you for your patience, everybody. Thank you, Paul. We'll leave you to.
no, apologies for that because we actually did do a dry run and it worked perfectly. So if you were visiting the site, I'd welcome you to the Gulag. It does look a bit like a Gulag, but at the moment, you are all very welcome to visit Gravity. We've got a special offer on walking and talking tours. They're free, and several of you have already enjoyed a visit to Gravity. So basically, to fast track to the link road, Gravity is a 635-acre enterprise zone. We fill the gap between. You're going too quickly, Rob. Gravity is a 635-acre enterprise zone located between the villages of Puriton and Woollavington. We're really all about sustainable, clean growth, direct foreign investment, high-value jobs, and working with small and medium-sized enterprises in and around the southwest. And the offer is it's intended that the offer is the full live, work, play option, which answers so many of the questions that the COVID has posed over the last year or so. Next slide, please, Rob. So many of you have heard about Gravity from Claire and I before, and what I thought I would do today is just take you through the link road, because we haven't majored on the link road before, but it is a very special piece of infrastructure that enables the opening up of the site and the connection back to the M5 whilst bypassing the village of Puriton. So it's about 2 kilometers of single carriageway, and you know, we've worked very hard with the design of the road to do things like balance, cut and fill, and then to use materials from the Gravity site to in the construction of the road, so that we are not importing materials from quarries. And suffering that, you know, that huge transport carbon footprint in the construction of the road. Not possible in every instance, but we've gone a long way to doing it. So we've got a new connection to the A39, which is a very large roundabout at the top of Old Puriton Hill on the A39. We've got a roundabout on Woollavington Road, So the road between the A39 and Willavington Road is a public road. The road between Willavington Road and the site is a private road. We've got a green bridge midway along the road, which provides the residents of Puriton with bridle path and footpath access to the fields to the south of the road. We're using we've used 145,000 tons of material from the site to create a very large landscape bund between the road and the village, and that screens the village from visibility and the noise of the link road, and more shots of that later. And we've used a bespoke retaining structure to ensure that we limit the amount of land take that the road requires. Next slide, please, Rob. So were we going to show the video, Rob, or not?
The way I got it to work was removing the videos.
Okay, righto. So apologies for that. So this is the link road. To the left of the drawing there, you see the edge of the of junction 23 on the M5, and then heading diagonally across the drawing, you've got the A39 with the new roundabout on it. And that's what the road closures are about in the next 2 weeks. We then have the road which loops around the village of Puriton onto Willavington Road roundabout, and then from Willavington Road roundabout across our land onto the site. You'll see the hatched green on the drawing there. The hatched green is the landscape bund, and the landscape bund, as I said, is designed to shield the village from the noise and the sight of the traffic on the link road. So the salient points on this are that material came from the site, 145,000 tons, which we managed to move between the months of about April and August last year. So in that marvelous weather we had during COVID, JD Pope, local contractor, ably supported by Jerome and his team at C2C, managed that work on our behalf. The material was delivered free issue to Alan Griffiths, and Alan Griffiths tracked it in and created the earth bund. That will be landscaped, and that earth bund will be owned in perpetuity. Or the road itself and the roundabouts are actually adopted by Somerset, but the balance of the land take and the bridle path, including the bridle path and the footpaths, will be retained and maintained by Gravity. So it gives the impression of our main entrance being almost directly off the A39. In addition to the earth bund, we, JD Pope, crushed all of the stone that went into the free draining layer below the link road. So about 15,000 tons of stone of concrete was crushed on the site to create the free draining layer below the link road. And this really goes to everything that is Gravity and what we call recover, recycle, repurpose, reuse, because on the site, since we started the remediation process, we have taken about 850,000 pounds worth of scrap off the site and recycled it. So that includes reinforcing steel, ductile iron pipe, which was used in drainage on the site, all of the narrow gauge rail on the site, all of the timber and some major timber and brash on the site, which went off for a waste to energy, green waste to energy usage, and everything that we've done on the site in terms of remediation has gone into a landscape bund, which has been capped and will be seeded with a meadow mix. So nothing from the remediation point of view has gone off the site. Everything has been recovered, recycled, repurposed, reused. The lessons that we've learned on the link road, in all probability, we will roll onto the site with Alan Griffiths, and Alan Griffiths will do the site road infrastructure. Because everything north of Willavington Road is retained by gravity, not adopted by Somerset, we can be creative in terms of materials that we use. So from the construction of the link road, we've generated quite a lot of waste material in terms of coal tar, and we've got quite a lot of coal tar on the site. All of that coal tar is being stockpiled, and we will bind that coal tar into the base layers of the concrete base of the road. So again, we're recycling, reusing existing materials, and it's not going off the site to a contaminated landfill. Similarly, we're going to bring in steel slag and use the steel slag in the road base as well. And working in conjunction with Alan Griffiths, who are part of the Tarmac group. Alan Griffiths are already using rubber pellets from recycled tyres in their road surfacing projects in the UK. There are a couple of local authorities which have approved the use of rubber pellets, sorry, we got three conference calls going on in the same room. So several local authorities, particularly London local authorities, have actually approved the use of rubber pellets in road surfacing. They increase flexibility, and they increase the lifespan of the road surface. So we're going to be using those materials on the site. In addition, all of the roads on the site, and we have a road hierarchy of primary roads, secondary roads, tertiary roads. All of the roads are equipped with a multiple utility services tunnel, 2 multiple utility services tunnels, 1 dry, 1 wet, and these tunnels come from another Tarmac subsidiary called Cubis, and they use recycled plastic. So we'll have a wet must multiple utility services tunnel, a dry must, and we'll be building in future flexibility because we won't have to dig up road surfaces every time a new tenant comes to the site. So again, it goes to our recycling mantra. And indeed, one of our partners, Genico, who are part of the Wessex Water Group, because the site will be a carve out from Wessex Water. We'll have Albion Water and Wessex Water on the site. As part of Genico's service contract with the City of Bristol, they recycle a lot of plastic, and they produce plastic sheets, which are now being used by Cubis in the manufacture of their multiple utility services tunnels. So this really is a circular economy exercise that we're delivering. This all goes, of course, to the whole transport agenda. Stephen was kind enough to ask the question on free ports. and we are in advanced stages of negotiation with Network Rail and in advanced feasibility study development to reconnect the rail to the site. And the intention is to bring the rail, reconnect to just to the main line north-south, just south of Highbridge Junction, bring a single line onto the site and have a branch on the site for freight and for passengers. So where you see that on that drawing on the screen there now, where the lane comes in at the top of the drawing from the village of Puriton, the passenger station will be proximate to where that lane comes into the site. So we will have a passenger station whereby we can bring in people from Bristol and all points north, Weston-super-Mare, wherever. But we can also bring in freight from the port of Bristol and other destinations in the UK, thereby taking passengers and freight off the M5. We are also in the advanced stages of negotiation with Somerset Passenger Solutions to provide bus services to the site, much the same as they do for Hinkley Point. And Somerset Passenger Solutions, we're also talking to them about the management of the last mile solutions, mobility solutions on the site. So the intention is on the site not to have any surface car parking. All the car parking will be in multi-stories, so there won't be dedicated parking for the tenants. We will have probably 3 or 4 multi-story car parks, and the movement around the site from multi-story car park to tenants accommodation will be via electric scooter, bicycle, and probably in the short term electric buses, but in the longer term autonomous vehicles. And we are already in negotiation with the providers of autonomous vehicles, and the idea is that those will be owned and managed by Somerset Passenger Solutions. So you know, working again with local companies to squeeze as much juice out of this orange as possible. The other thing that we'll be doing with transport is, by virtue of the fact that Gravity will have an app, and all tenants and their employees will have access to this app. We will be incentivizing our employees on the site to vehicle share. So I drive down from Bristol every day to be on the site. I am one of thousands of drivers who is driver-only vehicle on the M5 every morning and every evening. And if we've got I don't know, 750 people who are coming from Bristol each day, the emphasis is going to be on getting them to use the train or to vehicle share. And when they vehicle share, they'll be able to drive onto the site, park in a multi-story car park, and then all 4 people from the vehicle will be able to take an autonomous vehicle or an electric scooter or a bicycle to their place of work. So the last minute solution is a major piece of this. The recover, recycle, repurpose, reuse extends into waste management on the site in general. So I mentioned Genico earlier and what they do in Bristol. Genico will have two roles on the site. The first role will be to treat sewage, because we will have on-site sewage treatment. And the idea is that we will use a combination of sewage sludge and then green waste, organic waste, and possibly some imported waste to give the waste its calorific value, to have a biodigester on the site, and the biodigester will feed gas or power into E.ON, who are our energy solutions provider. But Genico will also do the traditional waste management on the site, the cardboard, the plastic, the glass, etc., etc. And the intention is there to work with all the tenants to, as far as is possible, adopt the green economy, circular economy approach, so that everything that comes onto the site, anything that comes onto the site, gets recovered, recycled, repurposed, reused, and anything that has to go off the site goes off site with a full audit trail backing it, so we know exactly where anything goes if it leaves the site. We certainly don't want it turning up on a beach in Malaysia or anything like that. Just to conclude this, and because you're all local residents, on the drawing in front of you there, you've got the A39. You can see the junction 23. The first left is Hall Road. The top of the top of the hill, you can see Hillside. The M20, the A39 will be closed between Hall Road and Hillside between the 9th of February and the 21st of February. And access to the village of Puriton will be residents only, in and out via Hall Road and Hillside. And the residents that live on the A39 will be able to gain access during the construction. The diversionary route will be via Bridgewater, and then Bath Road, and then on to Silverfish, and vice versa. As soon as we've finished that work on the A39, we'll be opening the roundabout. Hall Road will become one way in, and we stop off Hillside. So access to the village will be via Hall Road one way in, and then the new roundabout on the A39. And as I said earlier, we take out the 3 accident black spots, which were Hall Road, Old Puriton Hill, and Hillside. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the presentation today. And I apologize for the IT glitch, because we really had tested this on a number of presentations, and this is the first time it hasn't worked.
Oh, not an issue at all. Thank you very much. That makes an enormous amount of sense, and particularly interesting in terms of the recover, recycle, repurpose, reuse as the cornerstone. I've not come across the use of recycled rubber tyres in terms of in road surfaces. And I think the rest of the people on the screen will look at me in absolute horror as what a sad individual I am. I'm actually quite keen to go and have a look and understand that, as much as the Junction 25 Nexus and the Gravity A39 road is an exciting thing. I think actually going to look at what this is and what it does is really fascinating. So I'm afraid I will be coming up to you when we are permitted to legally to move around again. Can I come and have a look?
Everybody can come and have a look.
Brilliant,
and indeed,
others on in terms of thank you.
Others on the call have actually visited the site during lockdown, because with 635 acres, we don't have a huge problem with social separation, and it is for work purposes. So we walk and we talk. We also, as some of you know, we have the 37 Club is within our title boundary. We own the 37 Club, and we are still having socially distanced meetings in the 37 Club. So we continue to work, and just on your point on rubber pellets, Stephen. Tarmac are part of CRH now, big American conglomerate, multi-billion dollar company. The Americans have actually gone through their tire stockpiles, their obsolete tire mountains in the last 20 years, because they've been using this product in the United States for the last 20 years. So it's not new, and by virtue of the fact that Allen Griffiths are part of Tarmac are part of CRH, we're able to get access to all that technology. And because the roads on the site are not adopted, we can use that technology on Gravity.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I have the first question. I noticed there's a couple of questions, but if I may ask the first one, and prevalent to our current position, did the lockdown in terms of the reduction in traffic, but also in terms of give you an ability to accelerate any of the construction processes? And the reason I asked that question is the Nexus Business Park that was announced by Somerset County Council at Junction 25 at the top of the A358 had benefited from a huge reduction in general traffic, enabling to accelerate the programme. Has COVID had any impact at all on operations at the site, Paul?
On the site, no. We've carried on as normal and we've hardly missed a beat. Off the site, yes. At one stage, at the beginning of COVID, it looked as though all tarmac sites were going to close down. At that time, some of you will know that we closed Willavington Road to construct Willavington Road roundabout. That was a big impediment to the residents of Puriton, because the doctor's surgery is in Willavington, so they were having to do a 5-kilometre detour to get to the doctor's surgery at the beginning of COVID. So we spoke to the local ward councillor, Mark Healy. Mark Healy arranged with Somerset, and we virtually instructed Allen Griffiths to get Willavington Road reopened ASAP, which they did. By which time Alok Sharma had announced that he wanted construction industry to carry on working, and Griffiths had lost a drainage subcontractor. They lost their traffic management contractor to COVID. They couldn't service the site in COVID, so we decided to slow the progress on the link road by 6 months, and it seemed sensible at the time to conserve capital as well. Hence, the completion of the link road is in May. It was supposed to be this autumn, last autumn. So. But we had the benefit of that beautiful weather and very little traffic on Willavington Road, so we were able to get the 145,000 tons of material off the site, and the free draining layer of stone off the site. So that worked very well.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm just
Any other questions?
Yeah, are there any other questions from our construction colleagues in terms of the overall Gravity, or indeed if there are any questions about how we are operating within the construction industry at this current time? More than happy to take those, either by a hand up or a wave.
I think Damien's got a question in the chat, Stephen. Damien, are you still there?
Oh, okay, yeah, Damien is asking, who owns the design? Is the design frozen? And what are the next steps? Damien, do you want to just expand on that? And we'll ask Paul if he may to respond.
Yeah, sure. I'm thinking about the design of the different facilities. I was wondering, first of all, who owns the design in terms of organization? And I was wondering, how advanced the design is. Are we talking about design which is completely frozen? Is still being, let's say, it's still being developed and designed at this stage, and what would be the next steps of the project? I understand where we are today, but I think it would be quite interesting to have a very brief overview about maybe the key milestones going forward.
Okay, so Damien, the answer to the question is a complicated one. we have a very high level of tenant inquiry at the moment, but the market is necessarily cautious, I think, given where we are with COVID, and given the fact that we only did the Brexit deal in the back end of December. So people have been understandably slow in decision making, particularly relating to decisions which might result in a 25-year commitment or the purchase of a parcel of land on a 99-year lease. We are very definitely market driven, and we will not be putting speculative infrastructure on the site. So what we envisage will happen is we will have perhaps 4 or 5 different design teams, design and construction teams. Our model is that we will be providing long-term lease for build-to-suit premises, because the intelligence, market intelligence tells us that in general, that the sort of people we're looking to have on the site won't necessarily want to own and manage real estate. They won't want to do their own development work. So we are offering a complete design and construct service, Gravity being the developer, but working with our design partners and our construction partners, perhaps with as many as 5 bespoke teams who will take a brief from a client, help the client develop his brief, play that brief back to the client, further develop the brief, and then go into design, detailed design, documentation, so on and so forth, with the client, and deliver the tenant's accommodation. And indeed, that's long-term lease, build to suit. That's part of our finance solution as well, because tenants with the right sort of lease covenants, we can securitize the future income stream and use the income stream to fund infrastructure and fund the building construct. The only exception to that at the moment is E.ON, because E.ON is a concession. So they've signed the 50-year agreement. So they will be developing their own infrastructure on the site, and they will own and operate and maintain their infrastructure. We're not quite at that stage with Albion and E.ON and Genico yet, but the intention is that Albion and Genico will be a concession as well. And we will work with the concession companies, and they will deliver the design, own, operate, bill solution to tenants on the site. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, Paul, thank you.
Interestingly, I know there's a couple of faces that were on my MD CEO call yesterday, which is very much our opportunity for Chatham House Forum conversation. But a couple of things that came up was long-term planning and businesses that have something more than a 3-year, and really fascinating to hear that E.ON have a 50-year, which is really good news, because we tend often not to look at the horizon. We tend to navel gaze as businesses, which is frustrating. And the other thing I wanted to ask, and this is more generally to the construction panel here, so I'm aware we're slightly going into extra time, or will be, is the general feeling about your business within the construction industry. Yesterday's MD CEO forum was surprisingly optimistic about the position that businesses were in. There were businesses that talked about being in quite a cash positive situation. And I would just like to ask that question to those of you on the construction First Thursday Club presentation today, generally in terms of fields of business. And I'm not asking for commercially sensitive information, but on a scale, has it started to be, or is it reasonably positive aside from our COVID, or has it seen a marked downturn? How has it impacted, and are there any positives you can show and tell?
Stephen?
Yeah, please.
Make a general comment, really. From a bid coach perspective, we've started the year, I describe it as quite a reasonable pace. Ended last year very, very busy based on a couple of big infrastructure projects. Conversations with clients looking forward are positive, and these are the tier one contractors, the likes of which Paul has just touched on, including the likes of Tarmac. So I think, you know, there's a cascade effect here, isn't it? You know, we only get work when they are bidding and pitching for projects, and there certainly seems to be a lot of those going on. Certainly the regular clients that we have are very positive, and have indicated that there's lots and lots of things coming through the pipeline in terms of rail, infrastructure, even nuclear and other energy related things. So without any specifics whatsoever, it generally feels positive. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, we are fully aware of a business representing organisation that it really is the most bizarre landscape. We know that some of our colleagues in businesses, certainly within the hospitality, destination marketing, museums, single visit hotel, etc., have been, and I think the word is decimated, yet yesterday was particularly positive in that there was a lot of good noise about businesses in other sectors within manufacturing, within service industry that have done very well during this difficult time.
Stephen, can I just comment on with Hugh, because we do have on the Gravity website a portal where companies can register interest. Now we have an absolute commitment to local companies. It's Sedgemoor first, and then it's the wider Somerset, and then it's the wider Southwest. And I very candidly, I don't believe there's anything that can't be delivered from that catchment. And you know, the infrastructure on the site is a little bit different from the infrastructure on the link road, because the infrastructure on the link road was a public tender. We went to 3, and Alan Griffiths won. I mean, Alan Griffiths are a big Southwest contractor, albeit they're based in Abergavenny. But once they roll onto the site, we have the ability to dictate. You will use. We have the local labour agreement, and we're very well aware that the Southwest is blessed with any number of competent tier 2, tier 3 subcontractors, and we can either nominate or ensure that Griffiths include those contractors in their in the bid process. I mean, the case in point for us is JD Pope, because JD Pope were engaged on the site, but were not engaged on the link road. Once Griffiths come onto the site, it's you know, JD Pope are the principal contractor on the site at the moment, so they will be involved in the on-site infrastructure in ways that they weren't involved on the off-site infrastructure. So please, you know, anybody, any interest, yell, and we can ensure that you're on the portal, and you you get an opportunity to at the very least quote. But better than that, because we will look for Sedgemoor, Somerset, and the Greater Southwest first.
Brilliant, thank you, Paul. That's a fantastic endorsement. I'm sure I'm not at all biased, but my view is if it's not Sedgemoor, if it's not in Somerset and Southwest, and you can't get it, it probably isn't worth getting anyway. But I may have a slight bias. Look, I'm very mindful of the timing. I'm going to say a huge thank you to Paul and Rob from Gravity for their presentation and the information they've provided today. You can get hold of Paul either through our team here at Somerset Chamber, or his details are in the chat box. And I would urge you to take up those opportunities as Somerset and Southwest based organisations and businesses. With no further ado, I'm going to say thank you once more to Gravity for our sponsors. This has been a Somerset Chamber of Commerce production, and our next First Thursday meeting is unsurprisingly on the first Thursday in March. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers all. Bye.
Bye.